Good morning. Good morning. Have you ever had one of those days? So, this is what I'm going to be talking about today. Have you ever had one of these days when you wake up tired? I went to bed at a good time, like I normally do, around 11, I guess. And this morning, I just didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to wake up. I could have slept, and I remember waking up at 7 something, and then next thing you know, it's quarter to 9. And I know for some of you that may be perfectly normal. And for me, it used to be perfectly, perfectly normal in the past. But because I've been teaching a lot, some of you know that I'm not only a coach, but I'm also a teacher. I teach English as a foreign language. And so I wake up at 7:15, every day. But this morning, I just couldn't wake up. My alarm wasn't going on. It didn't go on because I don't set it on Sundays, of course. But I just couldn't wake up, and I'm still feeling really tired right now. So, if you've ever had one of those days, know that you're not alone. That's what I want to tell you. Sometimes we have one of these days, whether it's feeling tired or just not feeling, you know, good mentally or physically. We have these days, but we don't often talk about them for various reasons. For various reasons. Sometimes we don't talk about them because maybe we want the outside world to know that everything's great and everything's fantastic. I'm doing great. So we don't talk about how we really feel. And sometimes we don't talk about it because, when we talk about it, it sometimes makes it worse. What do I want to say? It does create that type of energy. So we don't want to talk about how we truly feel because we think it's going to generate more of that same type of energy. So whatever reason we don't talk about it is okay. It's okay, right? We have our own reasons for not talking about it. But then when we don't talk about it, it makes us feel like we are unique. And we are not unique because I know that I'm not the only one that feels tired. I say tired today because this is how I feel today when I woke up. I just couldn't wake up, man. So I know that we all feel similar in, so many times. And it's okay to talk about that. It's okay to mention, I'm getting some aches and pains because I'm noticing in my hands some sensations, especially at night or in the morning when I wake up. It's okay to say it. There's nothing wrong with saying that. What I have a difficult time with personally is when that's all we hear about, right? And, day in and day out, oh, I've got aches and I've got pains. I personally believe that if I talked a lot about my aches and pains, for example, or if I talked a lot about my tiredness today, I would probably feel more tired. And I would probably feel my aches and pains more. So I allow myself to talk about them because it is part of my reality. But I don't want to be dwelling in it. And that's one part that irks me, I suppose, is when I hear that all the time, right? From other people. Aches and pains all the time. Yeah, I guess that's when I would have a difficult time with it. That's okay. Right? We all have our own limits. We have our limitations. And we need to trust ourselves. We need to trust our instinct. Trust our vibe. So I got a card that I'm going to be reading today from Sonia Chaquette. Because we need to trust our vibe. And at the same time, we need to also push ourselves a bit. Here's what I mean by that. So my vibe, my gut says, just go back to bed. Have a bit of coffee, yeah, but go back to bed. And I may do that later. But I know that what my body needs is to move. My body needs to move. I haven't been moving a lot. I've been sitting down a lot. So even though my mind and my emotions tell me go back to sleep, my gut might be saying that too. I know what's right for me. What's right is for me to go out. So when I finish this live, I'm going to go out for a walk because I know that when I don't move enough, I get tired. Right? We need to look at our history. We need to know ourselves. And by this stage of the game, man, if you don't know who you are, what you need, there's some issue. We all know ourselves, right? When we get to a certain age, we know. We just have to pay attention to that. We know what we need. We know what we want. We need to pay attention to that. By the way, before I get into trusting with your vibe card, I had been imming and ahming for a very long time, like months, to do two different things. And I've finally died. I've done them. I've done them, and I'm so happy I did it. So I really need a holiday. I really need a holiday. I haven't been on a holiday in like over a year. And you know me, in the past, man, I was traveling like everywhere. I loved it. I really loved it. But over the last year, I haven't. And the last trip I went on was with my friend Marianne. We went to Portugal for that walk, for that great walk, right? We walked the Central Route, and man, those walks are calling me again. They're calling me again, and here's what's, in the back of my mind is that they're calling me. I know they're calling me, and I know I'm going to do another one. But right now, if I don't move around more, it'll be very difficult for me to do another walk. So I'm mindful of this. So I booked myself a cruise. I did that on Friday night, and I'm so glad. Here's the thinking behind booking the cruise. I want to go somewhere with the intention of just relaxing. Right? I'm a travel coach, and this particular trip, this particular cruise, I chose it not because I wanted to see any destinations. No, it's actually a Caribbean cruise. I'm leaving at the end of November 30th. It's a 12-day cruise. And the first 3 days are on sea. And you know what excites me about that? It's like I'll have lots of time to relax, to go to the spa, and I'm actually really looking forward to it, to go to the spa. I want to walk around they have a track there. I want to walk around there. I want to eat some good food, but not overdo it. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really glad that I finally booked it. It's booked. I'm going at the end of November. I'm excited. And I'm already thinking of my next cruise. I'd like to see Alaska again. So that's good. That's a good thing for me. The other thing I did, which took me a long time to decide, but I finally decided and did it. So ever since I moved here to Elliott Lake, there's not a lot of stuff to do here, all right? Yes, I'm going to be going walking later, so there are some nice trails, not as nice as in the Ottawa area, I have to say. Not as nice as in Sudbury, but still, there are some nice trails. Probably some that I haven't discovered yet. And since I got here in November, because I got my own apartment again, I was doing the back and forth thing, Mexico trailer. Once I settled in this apartment, for some strange reason, all of the old things that I used to do in a house or an apartment came up. And one of those things that came up was my love of sewing. And so I had to do a couple of things. I had to, my sewing machine had been in my shed at the trailer for 3 years, I guess, and it hadn't been used for even longer than that. I remember I did get it tuned years ago, but I hadn't used it. So I had to coordinate that, had to get the sewing machine, bring it in to see if it could even be fixed. Bottom line, it couldn't. And then I found out that you, patterns are either really expensive or you can't really find a lot of patterns. Where I am in Elliott Lake, I can't buy patterns. I can't buy material. So that was really discouraging me from even buying a sewing machine. Fast forward to Friday night. My friend Louise, went to high school with Louise. I love Louise. She's probably still doing it now. She starts sending me these reels, Facebook reels. She's sending them to me on Messenger. And guess what they're all about? Sewing projects. Sewing projects. She's sending me these reels. They're all sewing projects. And I'm going, oh my goodness. Like, what is going on? What's going on? So I decided to order a sewing machine because I can't get one here. I bought a freaking sewing machine. I did that yesterday. So yeah, I've got the cruise, and I've got the sewing machine going on, and I can't wait to get my sewing machine. Of course, once you have the sewing machine, then I'll figure out the rest. But what I've heard with sewing, what some people do now is they go to the St. Vincent de Paul's or the thrift stores, and they'll buy clothes for, I don't know, $1, $2, whatever it is, and they will use that clothes to make new clothes. One of the reels I was looking at, actually, they were using ties. So I think I'll probably explore that first. Suffice to say that with the cruise and with the sewing machine coming up, I feel like I'm pretty excited. I don't know if I'm going to go to Mexico in January yet. I was going to go to Mexico. I asked my landlady if the apartment was available. Apparently it is, but I don't think I will now. Anyways, that's a whole other story. But so, when we stop ourselves from doing things that we really want or that we know we need, it does keep us stuck. It really does. And sometimes we can't make decisions too fast. What I've started doing more and more lately is trust my gut and sometimes do it or not do it if I don't feel comfortable in doing it. So that's how I'm kind of growing into my new stage in life, which I'm kind of liking. All right, time to pull a card. And if you are watching this, I know I'm live right now in my Facebook group. I hope you're watching at some point, and if you are watching it later on, write down what you've been up to, or write down if you've ever felt a certain way, like what I've shared, feeling tired. We want to get back in our groove. Some of us are in our groove, and you'll notice that on a day-to-day basis, sometimes we are in our groove. Things are going great, man. Yeah, booked the cruise, bought the sewing machine, woohoo! Then other days, like myself today, tired. So I have to do something that's going to energize me. All right, I'm going to pull a card, and it is from the Sonia Choquette card deck, which is Trust Your Vibe. This might look, I don't know if it's the right direction or not, but Trust Your Vibe, Sonia Choquette. All right, today's about trusting all vibe. I do want to know how you're doing today. How are you getting back in your groove? What are you doing to get back in your groove? I know over the last several weeks I've posted on happiness, and that's going to continue because I think we need to remind ourselves that it's not overly difficult to be happy, right? It's not difficult to be happy. We are naturally born happy. Take a look at any child. They are naturally happy. And for some reason, we have learned over time that happiness isn't innate, that it should be out there. But it's not out there. It's already here. You just got to tap into it. All right. Here we go, here we go, here we go. This is the card. Oops. Okay. Oh, it says wait. Wait. Well, that's interesting. Wait for what? I am curious. Wait. And it has a number 28. Wait. All right, as I listen, as I read this, good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for saying good morning. How are you? I'm really glad you popped in. Thank you. So the card we've got is wait. And I'm not sure why we have wait, but we have wait. Your higher self encourages you to lighten up and see the positive in your life. Take full advantage of the love and support and allow your fears to ease. The past is over. I'm glad you're doing well. The past is over, and your inner work will continue to be beneficial fruit in the coming days. Let your worries go, as they will not evolve into real troubles. You are safe and secure and will continue to be so. Yeah. Fill your body with fill your body and heart with the light of your spirit, and let this light shine out all around you. This will quickly attract even more support and opportunity. Smile, both inside and out. This opens the curtains of the heart and lets your heart-centered power flow freely. Have a good laugh. All is well. Interesting. So yesterday was a rough day, well, thank you for mentioning that. And today is a whole new day, right? This is the beauty about, I guess one of the things that I love about mindfulness meditation is that when we are mindful, we are in the present moment. We're in the present moment. And so yesterday, the past is over, and your inner work will continue to bear beneficial fruit in the coming days. Living in the present moment, right now, right? Because yesterday is gone. And when you think about it, that's true. We tend to, I have a habit now, a routine. I follow a routine. I mentioned a little bit earlier that I'm a coach, yes, but I'm also a teacher. I teach English as a foreign language, and I get up 7:15 every day, and I teach in the morning, and I'll teach in the afternoon, and I have that routine, which works out good in some cases, but not in other cases, because we need to remind ourselves that every day is, in fact, a new day. Every day is a new day. So whatever happened yesterday is actually gone now. It's done. It's done, right? So when we wake up in the morning, like when I woke up this morning, I was tired. I'm still a little bit tired, but I'm starting to feel a little bit more awake now. I was tired. And I could have stayed in bed, but I decided to get up. Get up. I made myself breakfast. I've got my coffee still here. And I decided I'm going to go for a walk. But before the walk, I thought, you know what? I'm going to come on because I need you to know that sometimes we have one of those days, right? So yesterday was a rough day. We have these days. Oh, well, that's great. thank, thank you, Shannon. Right? We do have those days, but those days don't need to necessarily stretch to weeks and months. Sometimes they do. Let's not kid ourselves. For various reasons, some of us do have mental health challenges. We may need to take medication. So I'm not talking about that. Okay. If anybody out there is watching this and you're having one of those days again and again and again and again, you might need to get some support, some help. So I'm not talking about that type of one of those days. I woke up this morning feeling really tired. I didn't feel tired yesterday. It's just one of those days that I'm going to change in just a few minutes when I get off this live. I am going to go for a walk, even though my gut says just go back to sleep. I know that that's not the right thing for me to do right now. Maybe later, but not now. After I finish this live, I'm going to get myself ready to go. It's a bit cool. And I'm going to go outside for a walk, and I know where I'm going to. So sometimes we have to do these things. Sometimes we have to say, I know I'm having one of these days today, but, or maybe I'll rephrase that to, and I'm going to do something to change that energy right now. And I'm choosing to go for a walk, but sometimes what changes our energy is something as simple as putting some music on, reading these cards. Sometimes that changes our energy, right? So we can choose to change our energy. We can do that. All right, listen. I was only going to come on for a few minutes. I'm here into 22 minutes. I am glad, Shannon, that you were here. Thank you so much, and I'm glad. Following signs from God, sometimes we have to do that. We have to pay attention to our guidance, whatever you want to call it, our guidance, our spirit, our God. Yeah, we do. We definitely need to do that, and I'm glad that you popped on today. Thank you for that. It's always fun, always fun. All right, on that note, if I don't leave in a few minutes to go for my walk, I may not want to because I know myself. So I have to. I've got my socks on already, so I'm pretty well ready to go. In just a few minutes, I'm going to put my cup in a takeaway cup. And then I'm going to take my car because I'm going to go to the Spine Beach Road walk. Yes, that's right. All right, have a great day. Shannon, thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you are here today. You're here today. Very good. All right. See you later. Have a great day. Bye now. Take care.